Live streaming games can get pretty costly. You need a computer, capture card, microphone, webcam, and the list just goes on. Luckily, however, if you have a PS4, you can stream directly from it with very minimal extra equipment needed, and I'm gonna show you how to do just that. What's up guys, Zami here, and you're watching Heavy Metal Pomp. For the past few months, I've been having a go at streaming on Twitch. By the way, follow me at twitch.tv/heavymetalpomp. The general equipment that's required for most live streaming setups can cost a pretty penny. When I first got into streaming, I wanted to figure out a way for me to get used to the routines and mechanics without having to invest too much money in it. I don't even have a computer or laptop that's powerful enough to stream from. Lucky for me, the PS4 has a native streaming function. You can either stream directly to Twitch or even YouTube. Now mind you, it's not a nice looking stream. There are no fancy overlays and it only streams at 720p max. But as someone who's just starting out, I think it's perfectly good enough. Now I'm gonna go over some of the other equipment that can help make your stream better, but first let's talk about the essential stuff. First off, you're obviously gonna need a PS4. Mine's the slim version, but you can also get the Pro or even the old fat version as well. Now I did upgrade the hard drive to a 1TB SSHD, which I highly recommend you do as well. Just get an SSD or SSHD with whatever capacity that suits you best, but I think 1TB is good enough for most people. Now the hard drive upgrade doesn't really affect the stream, but it will improve on loading times on games, so it's just a useful upgrade in general. Next up, I'm just gonna talk about the controller real quick. Obviously, I'm using a DualShock 4, but I've swapped out the analog sticks for these Xbox Elite sticks that are swappable. Because I play quite a few FPS games, being able to swap out the right stick for a taller one helps me improve my aim a little bit. This is just a temporary upgrade though, and I have a much more elaborate PS4 controller mod video that I'm gonna be working on, so stay tuned for that. Also, of course, you're gonna need a TV or a monitor. Just use whatever works best for you. I'm using this small 13-inch monitor from UPerfect because I don't have a lot of space and this works just fine for me. If you just want to stream your gameplay and nothing else, that's honestly pretty much all you need. If you want to take it a step further though, here's what you need. First up, let's add a webcam to show your beautiful face. Unfortunately, as far as webcams go, the PS4 is only compatible with the PS4 camera. I do recommend getting the 2nd gen PS4 camera, and it's not hard to find it being sold on second-hand markets for reasonable prices. The camera quality on it isn't the best, but I'll show you how you can make it look a little better later on. The PS4 camera even has an onboard mic, so technically you can even use that as a mic for your voice. Again, there are better options, and I think you can go with either one of two options for mics. The first and easy way is to use a gaming headset with a mic on it. Pretty much any gaming headset with a 3.5mm jack will work. All you have to do is plug that into the DualShock 4 and you're all set. I used to use the Razer Kraken X, specifically the console version. The audio and mic quality is decent, but unfortunately it doesn't work in my environment all that well. Now let me elaborate on that. I stream from my room and my room doesn't have air conditioning. The ceiling fan in my room is pretty loud and all that wind noise gets picked up from my gaming headset mic and it sounds horrible. Come on! Hey! No! I still think the Razer Kraken X is a decent headset, but unfortunately I've had to go a different route, which brings me to my second option. And that is to use a condenser mic with a headset. Now because these are two separate peripherals, you have more choices to pick from depending on your budget. Me being a cheapo, of course I went with pretty low budget options. For my mic, I'm using the BM800 condenser mic. If you've even tried looking up budget condenser mic, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this. As mentioned, it is a cheap condenser mic and you can find it pretty much anywhere, be it Amazon, Lazada, Shopee, you name it. It's also available in different bundle sets. You can either just get the mic itself, or you can also get a more complete set like I have, which includes an XLR cable, shock mount, foam filter, and a boom mic arm. As far as the sound quality goes, I think it's really hard to complain for the price that you're paying. Because it is a condenser mic though, I think it's quite necessary to have phantom power with it as well. If you already have an audio interface that supplies phantom power, that's perfect. I have a Steinberg UR12 and it makes the mic sound amazing. The only problem is that the audio output has some buzz to it which I can't seem to get rid of. Because of that, I'm using a different phantom power for my mic. I'm using the newer NW100, which is also a budget-friendly option. In fact, I've also seen BM800 bundles which include the NW100 or similar phantom powers, so you can easily just get that. The NW100 is basically just a box that supplies phantom power to the mic and nothing more. There's no dials to adjust your input or output, just a simple on-off switch, but it gets the job done. Now that you have a mic that doesn't sound like complete ass, let's talk about audio. Again, you can pretty much just use any earbuds or headphones with a 3.5mm jack. I'm generally more of an earbud user, but for some reason I generally gravitate towards using headphones for gaming. A good pair can really give you nice directional audio, which is pretty necessary for FPS games. The ones I'm using are the Samson SR850s, which, surprise surprise, are also budget friendly. These are studio reference monitor headphones, which I know isn't targeted for gamers, but it still works perfectly fine. The audio quality is good and clear, and while I personally feel that the volume is just ever so slightly soft, it still works really great. So now you might be wondering, where do I plug all of this to? The mic and headphones each have a 3.5mm jack, and the DualShock 4 only has one input. Again, you have two choices to go from here. 1. Get a TRRS splitter cable that has a mic input and a headphone output. You can just plug that into the DualShock 4 and connect your cables accordingly. Personally, I don't use this method though. I think all that dongling really weighs the controller down, and I want to be as untethered as possible. That's why I go with option number 2, and that's by using a USB sound card. The one I'm using is from Ugreen, and for its low price, it has quite a few nifty features. It has 3 inputs, one for mic, one for headphones, and one for both mic and headphones like a gaming headset. It has a big dial in the middle to adjust the output volume, and even has individual mute buttons for mic and headphones. I pretty much never use the headphone mute button, but the mic mute button comes in very handy. So now I'm gonna show you specifically where all the cables go to. Let's start with the mic. The BM800 is connected with a male to female XLR cable, which gets connected to the input of the NW100. From the NW100, I'm running an XLR to 3.5mm cable from the output, which then goes to the Ugreen USB sound card, which is just connected to the USB port of the PS4. Also, the headphone jack just connects to the sound card as well. As far as functional equipment goes, all that can get you up and running to stream directly from the PS4. But there's something I want to talk about next, which kinda ties together with the camera. As mentioned before, the PS4 camera looks like crap. It doesn't perform well in low light, and it just looks pretty bad in general. Fortunately, there's a simple fix for that. Get a light and set it up somewhere that lights up your face nicely. I'm using a cheap ring light which I just set up on a stand next to my setup. These things are pretty affordable, and it makes a huge difference to the camera quality. The next thing I want to talk about isn't super important, but it's your background. If you have a cool room behind you, it's perfect. You're pretty much ready to stream. But if you're like me and what's behind you isn't appealing to look at, either get creative or invest in a green screen. And lastly, I want to talk about the settings within the PS4 itself. Let's go over the camera settings first. You want to go to the settings menu, scroll down to sharing and broadcast settings, then go into advanced settings, and lastly, camera video settings. Over here is where you'll be able to adjust all the settings for the PS4 camera. You're free to adjust it however you like, but there are some options that I feel are pretty important for me. Firstly, I like to use the medium size window for the webcam cause I think that sizing is just nice. The second thing is to select the chroma key option if you use a green screen like I do. The chroma option works best if you have good lighting, so again, invest in a light or two if you need it. Next up, let's talk about the mic settings. Now, when I first started streaming, I wanted to be able to talk and capture my voice without other players hearing mine, especially cause I play online games like Overwatch and Apex. First off, I changed the voice chat mode to push to talk or disabled so that the game's not gonna automatically pick up my mic signal. Next up, you wanna adjust your mic levels. First go to settings, devices, audio devices, then go to adjust microphone level and adjust it accordingly. After that, you're ready to just launch the game and start streaming. Just pick whether you want to stream on Twitch or YouTube, then add in your titles and whatnot. Also, there's a layout option that lets you have your chat displayed as well, but I think it looks like garbage, so I never use it. I just monitor my chat using the Twitch app on my phone. And that's basically all I use for streaming, including all these settings as well. I know it's a pretty long video, but I just wanted to show you that you don't need expensive equipment or even a PC to get into live streaming games, provided you have a console that supports streaming, of course. I know it's not the best or coolest equipment, but it's definitely good enough to get you started. You can also easily upgrade most of these things as well, whether it's the mic or the headphones or whatever. In fact, I'm strongly looking at the Creative Sound Blaster G3 to upgrade my USB sound card. Point is, this is a very modular setup that I can easily upgrade over time. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Hope you liked the video. Do leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of my simple yet functional PS4 streaming setup. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube nonsense, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.